Once again, we're back at the Troy Traffic Jam in Troy, Michigan. I'm Steve Lehto with my good friend Mark Lieberman. And this is a very, very important car we're going to talk about right here because I have a channel on YouTube and I've got a couple subscribers. And occasionally they say, Steve, you mentioned you've got a Backdraft Cobra, which is a Cobra replica. You've done a video or two about it, but no matter what I cover in the video, I get more questions. I thought to myself, okay, Mark Lieberman at Nostalgic Motoring is the man who got this car for me. I ordered it through you, you're a Backdraft dealer. And so I'm going to sit here now and go through the car with you to make sure we answer every question anybody might ever have about this Cobra to end that argument.
Well, I'm sure that there will still be questions, as there always are. But these are amazing automobiles. They're a lot of fun. They, most importantly, harken back to an earlier era of sports cars, powerful engines, and a driving experience that's unlike what you get in modern cars. No longer would you consider things like traction control and computer management systems for anti-lock braking. Here, when these cars were originally new, this was all analog. It was truly the skill of the driver and his coordination with the machine in order to be able to navigate around some really incredible racetracks.
And so this is a replica of a Shelby Cobra. If you've seen Ford versus Ferrari, you're familiar with Carroll Shelby. That's what has introduced a whole new generation of people to him. But the originals of these cars are priced out of my marketplace. But the cool thing is this is a very, very faithful reproduction as far as the way it looks, although the powertrain's been upgraded. But you'll see, for instance, it's got the knockoff hubs, which is pretty cool. It's got authentic side pipes, again, very, very cool. And it looks like a Cobra in every manner and respect. And these are built in Florida by Backdraft Racing.
Correct. Now, the interesting thing about the example that you ordered and spec'd in to your particular desires was you didn't want to emulate an original style conventional drivetrain. You put a modern drivetrain in this. So we have a 5-liter Coyote engine coupled to a 10-speed automatic transmission. So you've got a modern powertrain with classic styling.
And what's amazing is it's very, very fun to drive. I have another cool car that does not get anywhere near the attention that this car does. And even young people, I get people yelling at me and nice things and waving, asking if they can take pictures with it. And I'm very surprised, but it appeals to a lot of people.
It does. There is something about these that has a universal appeal. People like seeing them. You certainly like hearing them. They have a great sound to them. And the Coyote has an unusual bark to it, different than what you would hear from either a board and stroke small block or a big block engine.
Now, one thing I get a lot of questions about is how authentic, for instance, is the drivetrain. You just mentioned that a second ago, that obviously back in the day, you'd pop the hood, you might see a carburetor or something. That's not what you're seeing here.
It is not. You've got fuel injection here. You've got modern electronics. Originally, you could get 289 that was well built, warmed over with a 4-barrel carburetor, or if you really went for the SC model, you would get a 427. And so in this particular instance, you've got yourself a modern Coyote Gen 3 installation here, and as I said, with a paddle-shifted automatic 10-speed transmission.
And one thing I will point out, for instance, is that because this car was custom built to my specifications, I sat down with you before the car was even assembled and picked out things like the stitching color on the seats to make sure that would match the color of the paint. The paint, by the way, is actually not an authentic Cobra color. The Cobras would have been Guardsman Blue, which is a tiny little bit deeper than this, but I actually like Viper Blue. And I asked you, can I get it in Viper Blue? And you said, yes, you can.
Of course. You know, these things are built to spec and painted to spec. And tell me why you chose Viper Blue.
Well, I like Vipers, and I've actually got a red Viper, but years ago I had an opportunity to drive a Viper GTS that was blue with white stripes. I've got a photograph of that car on my living room wall. So I love these cars. I think they're really cool, but the thing, of course, is they're very Spartan, they're very simple. This door probably weighs, I'm guessing, about 6 ounces maybe. And I remember the day I picked this car up, you said, whatever you do, don't ever lean on that door. You said you move it to get into the car. It's acrobatic to get into the car, but do not lean on that door.
Right. You know, there are certain things about this vehicle that you have to just know going in. And there are some things that you may take for granted because of the robust nature of many modern conventional builds. you have to relearn all of that when it comes to these cars. So these are little nuances that you get used to and you say, okay, it's part of the personality of this car.
It's part of the personality, but of course you got a nice open dashboard there with a lot of nice gauges on it, and you got the gigantic tachometer, and you've got a speedometer in there somewhere, but that's more of an advisory thing.
Well, yeah, on a lot of these cars, we use GPS speedometers. So they're not connected by cable or by wire to the drivetrain, and they're quite accurate and they're interesting to use until you go through a tunnel.
Which, of course, are there speed limits in tunnels? I don't know.
There must be, but you won't be able to tell how fast you're going with a GPS speedo.
Right, and I do have people ask me about this device right here. This, of course, is a roll bar.
It is.
I've had people say, but wait a second, Steve, why doesn't the passenger get one? I say, let's face it, if we need that, we're both in trouble.
Some of the cars actually spec in the second roll bar, but for the most part, if you're going to keep with a traditional look, the race cars did not carry passengers, and therefore you only had a single roll bar.
It was an option I opted not to get. And I have people start asking me, they say, well, wait a second, Steve, what about the safety features in this car? And I'm like, you're talking completely the wrong language here, because people do ask me, they say, hey, Steve, what are these things over here on the back of the car? They go, those are the worst looking bumpers I've ever seen. I go, this car hasn't got bumpers.
No, those are quick jacks. That's, again, a styling feature that was functional for race cars, but is little more than an ornament for these continuation vehicles.
Right, so if you're in a race and you pull into the pits and you want to change both back tires, there's a device that comes in here, goes under and pries the car up really, really fast. You spin the spinners off, pull off tires, slap on a new tire, put spinner back on, drop it, and go.
On to the next.
Yeah, a little bit faster than you or I might do a tire change in our own driveway.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. But these are a lot of fun. And as I recall, when you picked this car up from me, it was rather chilly out.
Yes.
And you insisted upon driving it home anyway.
I did, but you'll recall that among the various options that were available on it, I did choose to get an interior heater, and there are heated seats. And I remember I was thinking to myself, why would I need heated seats in this car? Driving here before the sun came up this morning to get a good parking spot, it was chilly, and I appreciated the heated seats.
Absolutely, and little nuances like that that are available on these bespoke builds. And the idea is to, create an automobile that's right for you.
Yeah, and the other thing is I have to point out is that I got it with the third generation Roush Coyote. It's a very, very powerful engine, but I believe they make them even more powerful. It's available as an option on this car if you have the money and the guts.
Yes, you can even get a supercharged version of these.
Okay.
So, which is terrifying in a word. So you got to keep in mind they're light automobiles.
Yes.
You put enough power to these things, and it's just like driving on ice.
And I'm not sure if we can get a photograph that actually shows it, but how wide these tires are, the actual surface area of the tire that's on the ground, it's an amazing grip. And yet, strangely, occasionally they break loose for some strange reason.
Yeah, that's because you got your foot in it.
Okay, well, I wasn't going to say that. And then the other thing I'm going to mention, and this, of course, is actually what tops off the entire car, and that is the racing gas cap. You got to have one of these racing gas caps. My Viper's got one, this car's got one, whatever my next car is, it's got to have one too.
It's the little ornamentation that fills in the details for these. It's a lot of fun. Steve, I'm so glad you brought this car out for people to enjoy and for you to enjoy on the way out and back. So thanks again.
And I've had a lot of people say, oh my God, this is such a cool car. Where'd you get it? And I go, my good friend Mark Lieberman, he's around here somewhere. Go talk to him. He can order you one. So once again, I'm Steve Lehto. This is Mark Lieberman. We're at the Troy Traffic Jam. This is an annual event to raise money for the Troy Historical Society. If you didn't make it out this year, you missed a great show. But you can, of course, go online, check it out next year. We'll be there, of course. Probably shoot more videos. Who knows what car I'll be driving then. And we'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.